This is part 2 of Unconditional Love. And I was going to talk about what it is and what it isn't. And I'll get through that hopefully in this one. And that's part of so when you're thinking about spiritual warfare, the battle that we must fight every day, the battle against the darkness, against all of the negativity that we face every day, that is the battle. And we have to remember that it belongs to the Lord, but our weapons that we can use as we fight these battles daily. One of them is unconditional love, and there's a few others that I'll talk about later, but the unconditional love, and I talked about in the last one, what it was and how we go through boot camp with our self-love. That's our first part that we have to do, and that we have to kind of overcome a lot of things in order to start that, and we have to live in our purpose, and that requires a lot of healing, so that you can unconditionally love. Without unconditionally loving you can't unconditionally love someone else. And that's the last video. If you want more, go back and watch it. But this one is kind of what it looks like versus what it doesn't look like. So because for those folks like me that have been a people pleaser, or you've gone through codependency issues, that kind of stuff we have to be careful of, because we have to understand the boundaries around it, the rules around it, so that we aren't, because the assumption with unconditional love is that you just you love everyone no matter what they do, which you do, but there are boundaries there. And so there are means to keeping you safe in that situation. And then there are means of identifying it. Like, what does it look like? So unconditional love itself is, it's safety. There's safety in it. Being attentive and attuned even when setting limits. Honoring others' requests without harming yourself. Not being harsh or dismissive. Being assertive so that you can work together to find the best outcome. And those are four things that you need to remember. So that's kind of the go-between. So it's offered freely without expectation of return. And that's the big one, because I know growing up, nothing was given without expectation of some sort of tit for tat return. You must. It's like, if I give you this, then I will hold it over your head. And that's terrifying for some people. And so learning how to unconditionally love, that's a big one. It's like, you don't have to give people things in order to get that love. It should just be freely given. Now, you do have to live inside of some behavioral code, moral code, so that because in order to have people around you, you have to treat them kindly and well. It's a big one. And if you don't, you can't expect them to stay around you. They can love you from a distance, and that's how that works. And so it's offered freely, though, without anything expected in return. It's like, I love you. You do you, though. I'm going to sit and watch from over here. That's usually my response, because a good majority of the people that I've come across I've had to do that with, which is really sad. You want nothing but their happiness. Like, from a distance, I want nothing but your happiness. And it makes me sad when I see you go through things that you're choosing unhappiness in, but I can't, that's on you. I can't do anything about it except for hope for you. And another thing, I can send prayer, good thoughts, good intention, goodwill, positivity your direction, and hope that it helps. But that's what unconditional love looks like. You want nothing but their happiness. You're not there to get something out of them. It's offered freely. And this is what it looks like. They're your biggest cheerleader. This is a low battery every time. This is how you know that there's some unconditional love there. Biggest cheerleader. They embrace your flaws. They prioritize your happiness. Your happiness is important too. They have open communication with you. So they honestly and openly communicate with you. They make sacrifices for you. So they'll sacrifice things for you. They aren't selfish about things. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not boast. It's not self-serving. This is the same thing. This is what unconditional love looks like. They stand by you through tough times. It's a hard one. When you feel like you're going to be pulled down by somebody else, their reputation, even if it's not like a real thing, you still stand by them because they're your people. You stand in front of them so that they aren't hurt because they're your people. You protect them because they're your people. They respect your boundaries. And so if you set a boundary, they aren't going to go off and talk bad about you to people. Or tell people you're a cold, conniving, mean woman. They show empathy for you. So they can, when you're sad, they're like, I totally understand that. You want me to sit with you. That's unconditional love. And they make you feel loved for who you are. And this is by a woman named Tina Fey. I don't know if it's the real Tina Fey, but I don't think it is. But she's a good writer. But these are some things that you can look for. This is how you embody unconditional love. Especially in families. Oh my gosh, and in marriages, we need this so much. And in communities, in teams, in my classroom, this is what I try to embody. It's like, I have open communication with you. I will make sacrifices and stand in the gap for you if I need to. I will stand by you in tough times. I'll let you have a bad day. Respect for your boundaries. If there's something you don't want me to do, I won't do it. Something you don't want me to say, I'll do that. You want me to call you a certain name? I'll do that because I'm respecting your boundary. Showing empathy for them and what they're going through. Making them feel loved for who they are. That's the big one for me. It's like, you do you, boo. I like you. Let me find the good thing about you, and I'll be your biggest cheerleader about that. That is unconditional love. That is loving like Christ told us to love. It is agape love. Agape love. And so that is what it does look like. Now, for those of you who are concerned about boundaries, a woman named Sharon Pope, this is what she suggested in her article. So you don't overlook bad behavior or have no boundaries or lie to yourself so that you have to stay in some sort of relationship with somebody. That's not unconditional love. You are truthful about whether or not something works for you, and you've made that decision. Now, here's how you do that. That doesn't mean you stay with them. It means that you give them time. You slowly give them time to show you who they are. Do you need to love them from a distance? You can still love them. You have to love them from a distance. If there's something really toxic that is bad for you, you need to get away from that situation. That's not loving you unconditionally. So it requires that you love both you and them unconditionally. Which means that you keep your vulnerable parts hidden or to yourself until you know that you can handle their darkness. There are consequences in unconditional love. They need to understand that there are consequences, which means that if you do a certain thing, I have to love you from a distance. I still love you, but I have to love you from a distance. That's the consequence. It doesn't mean that it means that I think more of me than I do of your toxic behavior. It begins with loving you, though. You have to, again, love yourself. And it's this love, this unconditional love, the agape love, that's what it is. It is unwavering, unchanging, and endless. Biggest weapon that you can use against the darkness is unconditional love. Just FYI. Hope you guys are good. I love you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.